see for yourself. And we're going to have different panels here. I think we have a very interesting and very good level. We're going to have Rosarito, See for Yourself, led by Gregory Payne and Scott Henning, both of them from Emerson College. You're here, and Greg is going to come. And then we have Tourism and PR in Rosarito. It's given by Hugo Torres, the mayor of the city of Rosarito. And I might say, he's not here now for different reasons. And then we have Ron Raposa, Public Relations Advisor of the city of Rosarito. And then we have a strategic approach to place branding for Northern Baja. Is going to be explained by Robert Brown from the Salem State College and Harvard University, and If Civil, where is If? From Emerson College. And then we still have a fourth panel, which is Rosarito en Positivo. It's Ada Renedo from Emerson College, and I must say from Ramon Llull University as well. And then we have Cheremian Corrado from Emerson College. So what if we start? I think it's what it counts. My idea is to follow the list. Mm-hmm. So let's start with Rosarito, See for Yourself.
Sure.
Thank you, Scott.
Thanks so much, Henry. I'm just going to borrow the remote because I like control. Okay, well, hey, good morning, everybody, and thanks for coming. As Henry was alluding to, I mean, our entire presentation this morning, all of our different groups are really focused on the town of Rosarito in Mexico, and various ongoing projects that we're helping with there. So I'm just going to briefly walk all of you through what it is that we're doing. Let's see. There we go. Okay. So essentially just what I'm going to be talking about this morning is just a brief introduction to what is the crisis in Rosarito, what's the purpose of the See for Yourself program, and then also just some of my suggestions for moving forward. First of all, maybe it might help since not everyone's probably heard of Rosarito. Here's the big red arrow, and you can't see it, but there's a little town right here called Rosarito, Playa del Rosarito, which is about 30 miles south of San Diego. And it's really just a resort beach town. It was established in the early 1920s, kind of around the time of Prohibition. It was really before most of you were born, but at one time in the US you couldn't buy alcohol legally. So people would cross the border into Mexico to go drink. And so one of the things that would happen was that there were all of these little sort of bars and speakeasies and kind of informal places. And it was a little lawless, maybe a little bit like Vegas. You know, maybe a mini Vegas, not so much neon and all of that. So then around this sort of sprung up a whole sort of tourist town, hotels, bars, restaurants. In the late 80s, Americans started moving there just because it's a lot cheaper to live in that part of the world. That if you want beachfront property, you can have it in Mexico for a small fraction of the price you can get it for in the United States. So in addition to people from mostly San Diego, LA, in addition to people going down there for weekends and for day trips, you also have, I think now there are around 14,000 Americans that actually have homes in Rosarito, and many of them live there full time or they have vacation homes. So that's been sort of the idea of Rosarito. And just we'll come back to this in a second, but just the idea, Mexico is a huge country. So you got Rosarito over here, and then other things that are going on in Mexico that we'll talk about in a minute. Juarez is all the way over here on the other side of the map, 600 miles away. Just keep that in mind. Okay, Rosarito kind of going along for a number of decades, everything more or less okay, mostly dependent on tourist income, and then there was a crisis. There is a crisis. What happened? Really, pretty much in 2008, 2009 is whenever this got started, and it really was tied to the election of Felipe Calderon, the Mexican president, who started doing an aggressive campaign against corruption and drug trafficking in Mexico. aggressively fighting drug cartels, moving the army into places like Juarez, and lots of gunfire, thousands of people dead, not in Rosarito, but certainly in other parts of Mexico. And one of the things that happens is that, of course, with all of this violence very close to the US border, then you have American media reporting on the violence, and people in the United States seeing reports of the violence and seeing, lurid images of gunfire, and and also the media tended to conflate all of this violence with the idea of tourism, even though nothing really in particular was going on in Rosarito. It still had people really panicked. And then on top of that, of course, you all heard about the H1N1 epidemic. It was originally called the Mexican flu, and I'm sure most of you remember, but most of the media were running all of these elaborate reports about, oh my God, Mexico